He came home 3 days early, expecting silence. Instead, the billionaire froze. Imagine discovering 2 tiny lives hidden in your own home, lives that could shatter everything you know. What would you do? Stick around, because this story from Whisper Fable will pull at your heartstrings like nothing else. His maid stood in his kitchen, 2 babies strapped to her chest, their mother dead, no father in sight. And for 3 desperate days, she had nowhere else to turn. His anger demanded he fire her. But what happened next would change them all forever. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments, what time is it, and where are you watching from? Let's start. The front door clicked shut behind him. Daniel adjusted his tie as he stepped inside, his blue suit still sharp from the trip. He had returned 3 days earlier than planned, tired of the boardroom arguments and false smiles. All he wanted was silence in his own home, but from the kitchen came muffled noises, the soft babble of children. His face darkened. He didn't have children, and he paid enough to ensure no children were running around here. He strode to the kitchen, shoes striking hard against the polished floor. The sight that greeted him stopped him cold. And then filled him with rage. His maid, Elena, in her blue uniform and yellow gloves, was bent over the counter, wiping it down. But strapped against her body in a gray sling were 2 babies, pale-haired, wide-eyed toddlers clinging to her as if she were their lifeline. Daniel's voice exploded. What the hell is this? Elena froze, then slowly turned her head, her expression weary, but braced. Sir? You weren't supposed to be back yet. That's your first thought? His jaw tightened, his voice rising. Not an explanation? You turned my house into a daycare. And expect me to stand here quietly? Who are they? Why are they here? The baby shifted uneasily at his booming tone. Elena instinctively rocked them, murmuring soft words in Spanish. She didn't stop wiping the counter. She didn't drop her gaze. They are my sister's children. Daniel blinked, stunned for a second, then scoffed. So what? They're yours now. Since when do I pay you to drag children into my home? This is not acceptable. They are not usually here, she said quickly, her voice straining under the weight of his anger. Only for the past 3 days. And that makes it better? He stepped closer, his shadow falling over her. 3 days of breaking the rules. 3 days of lying to me. Do you understand how serious this is? Elena straightened, clutching the sling protectively. Their mother is dead. Their father is gone. They have no one but me. And my mother. She has raised them since the funeral. But she is old, sir, too old. Last week, she fell. Her body cannot carry 2 babies anymore. So I brought them with me. Only because I had no choice. Daniel's lip curled. Not my problem. You should have found another solution, a neighbor, a shelter, anything but this. You don't bring children into my house without permission. Her eyes flashed, but her voice stayed calm. A shelter? She almost laughed, though it came out like a sob. Do you know what happens to babies in those places? Do you know how quickly they disappear into a system that doesn't care? My mother begged me not to. She said, Elena, you keep them close. You don't let strangers take them. So? I brought them here. I thought maybe you wouldn't notice. You thought wrong. Daniel's tone cut like glass. You've been working under my roof, hiding 2 mouths to feed. Do you know what that looks like to me? To my reputation? Reputation? Her voice cracked for the first time. You're worried about your image. While I'm worried about keeping them alive? Sir, with respect. That is a luxury I don't have. Daniel's hand slammed against the counter, making one of the babies whimper. He lowered his voice, harsh and deliberate. Don't turn this on me. You broke trust. You deceived me. Elena's breathing quickened, but she didn't back down. She adjusted the babies again, their small faces pressed into her chest. Yes, I broke your trust. But I didn't break my promise to my sister. I told her when she was dying. I would keep them safe. So if you want to fire me, fire me. But I will not abandon them. The words cut through the air like a blade. Daniel stared at her, fury boiling in his chest. He wanted to dismiss her on the spot, to remind her of her place. Yet something about the way she clung to the babies, not as a maid, but as someone cornered by life, made the room feel heavier. He stepped back, his jaw set. 3 days or not. This cannot continue. You've crossed a line. Her lips trembled, but her eyes stayed locked on his. I know. But sometimes, survival means crossing lines. You have never been forced to choose between your job and your family. I have. And I chose them. The baby's soft whimpers filled the silence, like cracks in Daniel's armor. He pressed his palms to the counter, breathing hard, eyes locked on Elena. She didn't look away. For a maid, she carried herself with more defiance than most men in his boardroom. You think I should just let this slide? He said finally, his voice low, measured. You think I built all of this by allowing people to bend the rules? No, Elena answered, her tone steady, though her throat tightened. I think you built it by making decisions when others were too afraid. And I am not afraid to tell you. This is my decision. I will not abandon them. Daniel's mouth twitched with frustration. He wanted to throw her words back at her, but instead, he found himself staring at the children. One tiny hand had slipped free of the sling, fingers curling aimlessly in the air, as if reaching for something, anything. And here's the twist that might make you rethink everything. What if one act of mercy could heal two broken worlds? Keep listening to Whisper Fable, you won't believe how this unfolds. You've lied to me, Elena, he said coldly. I didn't lie, she corrected. I hid them. And yes, that is betrayal. But it was 3 days, sir. Only 3. Before that, my mother did everything, fed them, rocked them, prayed over them. But her body is breaking. You know what happens when time takes your strength. I couldn't leave her to collapse under the weight of 2 babies. She begged me not to. Her voice cracked on those last words. Daniel noticed. And it unsettled him more than her defiance. He rubbed his jaw, pacing a step. So what now? You expect me to run a mansion around your family drama? To let you carry babies? While you clean countertops? I expect nothing, she said firmly. I expect you to do what you want. Fire me, replace me, erase me from this house. But at least, I will leave with my dignity intact. Because I didn't walk away from them. I didn't look the other way. Her words landed heavier than she intended. Daniel stared at her, something shifting behind his sharp gaze. He wasn't used to being challenged. Not in his boardroom. And certainly not in his own kitchen. One of the babies fussed, a soft cry spilling into the air. Elena rocked them, whispering, yeah, tranquilo, cariño. Her voice softened, but her body stayed rigid, waiting for his verdict. Daniel exhaled slowly, his fists loosening. He saw not just a maid in a uniform, but a woman fighting battles on too many fronts: grief, poverty, duty. And somehow, despite it all, she was still standing here, still working, still carrying more than anyone should. You should have told me from the start, he said finally. I know, Elena admitted, her eyes glistening. I was afraid. Afraid you would see me as weak. Afraid you would toss me out. I couldn't risk losing everything. In one moment. And yet. Here we are, Daniel muttered. She braced herself. If you want me gone, say it. I'll pack tonight. The words came out before he could stop them. I'm not firing you. Elena blinked, startled. What? You heard me. His tone softened, though it still carried authority. You made a mistake. Yes. A big one. But I've seen men with millions in their pockets who wouldn't lift a finger for anyone but themselves. And you? You carry 2 babies while scrubbing my house. That kind of loyalty, that kind of strength, is not something I can just dismiss. Tears welled in her eyes, though she forced her chin high. So, what happens now? Daniel looked at the babies again. Their innocent eyes followed his movements. For the first time in years, he felt something tug at his chest. Something unshakably human. Now, he said carefully, we set boundaries. They don't come here again. Unless I say so. But I'll make sure your mother gets help. Real help, doctors, medication, maybe a nurse to ease her burden. And as for them. He paused, then added quietly, I'll see what can be done. No shelters. No system that swallows them whole. Elena's lips parted in shock. You would do that? He nodded once, sharp. Not for them. For you? Because you've proven something most people never do, that some promises are worth breaking rules for. Her knees weakened, but she steadied herself, clutching the sling tighter. Thank you, sir, she whispered, voice trembling. Daniel turned away, his expression unreadable. But the steel in his posture had shifted, replaced with something heavier, responsibility he hadn't expected to feel. As he left the kitchen, Elena sagged against the counter, tears slipping free at last. The babies pressed closer, their tiny breaths warm against her chest. She kissed the tops of their heads, whispering, we're safe, mi amor. For now. We're safe. In the quiet that followed, the billionaire's footsteps echoed down the hall. And though he would never admit it aloud, a thought pressed against the edges of his mind. Sometimes, wealth isn't measured in dollars, but in the lives you choose not to walk away from. If this story from Whisper Fable touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories of struggle, survival, and hope. Tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you were in his place?